Parpy, an OCE Fortnite Pro player formerly of a refugee camp, makes his way to being a Fortnite Pro and has now been kicked from his latest esports organization. Like I said, an OCE Fortnite Pro formerly of the Chiefs spent a couple months with his new org as RBK, and last night, after releasing his touching story from a refugee camp to becoming a Fortnite Pro, he has now been released from the esports organization. Now, details are still coming out about this. I will keep you all posted. I think it's quite obvious as of right now, both sides are in the wrong. Both sides have made their mistakes in this case, and to blame one single side would not be the right move here, guys. Both sides certainly saying things they shouldn't and doing things they should not as well, as apparently it's actually that same video Parpy released that was paid for and supposedly owned by the organization, and thus when he released it on his own personal channel, they said you're not allowed to do that and released him from the organization. Albeit though, the fact the video is about his touching story from making it from a refugee camp to becoming a Fortnite Pro and whatever his future might hold, it seems like pretty poor timing to release the kid after releasing such a touching video, right? But certainly there are underlying issues on both sides of this. We now have statements from RBK's owner, or at least one of them, that being concealed, and Parpy has also made his statements. I'll summarize his tweet longer on screen for all of you, which I would say a blanket statement is he felt he was mistreated by the organization, and that's all I really drew from this. He felt he also had ownership of the video he did release, while the organization, they've now come forward and said, no, we had ownership of the video. They spent thousands of dollars to travel to the Australian Open to record that story and that video. They paid the salaries, they paid the editor, they have the video ownership as well, and because Parpy broke those ties and released the video he did not pay for on his own channel, the organization said, you just can't do that, man, and released him. For some odd reason out there, some people have it twisted as if the organization is some evil people, and also vice versa though. Some people blaming Parpy. I would say both sides have reasons to be blamed for. Here is also the RBK owner, that being concealed, talking about him offering the duo. It was actually Volks and Parpy. They're a duo offering their pay, which also comes down to apparently $4,000 plus 0% winnings as long as they're playing in OCE events. But if they were to move to America like the org wanted them to, it would be 15% of their North American winnings from North American events only. He also goes on to talk about apparently some underlying things going on for a couple of months that Parpy had taken place in the organization, things we might never know the details about, DMs that could be released on both sides, which the owner, that being concealed, has chosen not to release. And then we'll get into what I would say RBK did incorrectly here, but here are those statements from one of their owners.
I get it, we're smaller, and I know you wanted to join FaZe, which is fine. Join FaZe. Listen, if you're FaZe, you should pick up Parpy. I'm telling you, you should pick him up. He's a great person, a great player, great content creator. You should pick him up. But it's like, it just has to make decisions, right? Like there's the things that are going on in the org that you have to make boundaries and you have to set certain standards for things that are going on. For them, exactly what they wanted, which was $4,000, right? We offered Parpy $4,000 at 0% OCE earnings, 15% NA earnings when they're here in LA, when we bring him to NA. So their contract is Parpy and Volks are getting paid $4,000, right, in OCE. We take 0% from any OCE earnings, right, exactly. And then we take 15% from whenever they're here in NA, only competing in NA tournaments alone. Sorry to burp, but it's like you can't be doing that stuff either, right? But at the same time, I get where you're. No, you shouldn't. I'm saying you're in the position you were in. I get. But there's a lot of DMs that went on for, a month and a half that we were together that I can put DMs out there that you might not like, or I can put DMs out there you like and things like that. So.
No, yeah, it's fun.
The real world in life, like if I'm your boss, right, and you're not producing at your job, you're going to get fired. And that's just the end of it. There's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing that you can do about that. It's just the reality of this whole space of business in the general world is how it works. So you can't shit on your boss or your business for 3 months straight and then expect them to keep giving you a check.
Dude, what do you mean 3 months straight? Like what?
Parpy,
I don't know why you're bringing this up.
No, Parpy, I'm just talking about in general.
And then very lastly, on the RBK side, we have another one of their owners known as So Clean. I will say this is immature. It's not professional. Supposedly in messages to Parpy following him releasing the video, he actually blamed him, accused him of thinking he was a god for having a story that was 10K views, also accusing him of thinking his story was gold. Those are not the words you use to a player who just released a refugee camp video, especially if you're an owner of an esports organization. You got to be a bit more sensitive in the way you word things. Yes, the video might not have done as well. It's still, I will link it down below for all of you guys. And just the fact you referred to a refugee video, and kind of talk down about it, You just can't do that as an esports owner, and that's what I would say the biggest fault on the RBK side is to me. And what do you guys think about this? We really do have it, down to the blanket statement of RBK apparently was paying both Volks and Parpy what they wanted, had made the offer to also move them to North America. It was the organization who supposedly, according to their own words, had ownership and had paid entirely thousands of dollars for that video, and then Parpy releases that video the org owned on his own channel. Thus, they let him go. And I would say, guys, yes, that's incredibly unprofessional by Parpy, and if they want to release him for doing that, they are incredibly in their right. I would say the timing of that, the fact that such a touching video and a super sensitive video is probably pretty poor, and also vice versa on the RBK side, when you have an owner kind of talk down about this story, and I would say disrespectfully so, that's also pretty bad. There are certainly things going on behind the scenes we will never know about. It's still a very touching story. Parpy, as of right now, is a free agent. I would say he did things pretty poorly in this case. The organization didn't handle it perfect either, but when it comes time for releasing the player, they were completely in the right because they spent thousands of dollars, and those thousands of dollars that they had were just uploaded to someone else's YouTube channel. What do you guys think about this? From Refugee Camp to Fortnite Pro, now a free agent. Will Parpy be signed to FaZe Clan like he wants, or elsewhere? He might just be. We'll find out sometime soon. Until next time, take care. Breaking down esports gaming news every single day, all day long. Take care, you guys.